you
and
said
the following.
when
We've been discussing it with my colleague from the People's Republic of
my
China,
counterpart from
you said the
the
following, and
People's
I
Republic of
wrote it
China,
down.
you said that the Russian
The
Federation,
Russian Federation
and
China
are shaping
shape
a new world order. Russia and China are not shaping a new world order.
The world order.
We
We are
are
only identifying the
giving it
potential shapes of it,
a
or the
certain,
scope of it, or the general
formal
perimeter.
status.
The New World Order
The New World Order
emerges
is
genuinely
emerging
on its
through a
own.
natural process.
It's just
like
like
the
watching the
sun
sun
going up.
rise. There is no way
You cannot
you can
escape
run away
that.
from it, or you can avoid it.
Our
And
role
we
is
are
just to
trying to create the conditions, or
formalize it a
rather
bit
pave
and
the
maybe
way for
just
this
clear the way
process,
for it,
so
that
that
this
it is
process
more
can be more
balanced,
balanced
and so
include
that it is
the
in line
interests
with the
of
interest of the
the great
global
majority of
majority.
countries.
And we very
we
much
certainly
hope
hope that
all
all
of the
countries
countries
will
would be
realize
aware
that
of it. And
and
after
will
all,
ultimately
would come to realize,
understand,
as I was saying
said,
earlier,
that
that this particular wave of searching for a solution
is better
is better
than the way of
an approach where you
pressure
try to apply pressure.
and
We are maintaining contact with Israel. I spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I spoke to the President of Iran, I spoke to the President of the United States, and they are directly involved in all these processes. So I presented them with our vision about what possible progress we could accomplish regarding this situation. We'll see. Now they are discussing our suggestion as well. We maintain contact almost daily with our Iranian friends, so we'll see. I would really love to see that our ideas, among others, including our ideas, were implemented. And it gives us a reason to believe, to hope that the global South, in general, the countries in the region in particular, will be able to influence the process in the way that this urgent phase, this acute phase, came to an end. When I say that our principal position is to ensure that one security is not ensured at the expense of someone else's security, I don't want to speak at length about that. We all understand what it means, enrichment of uranium in Iran. It's their right to have nuclear power facilities, to have nuclear power stations, and what Israel wants is to ensure their own security. I'm certain that we can find an acceptable solution for both countries, and the countries of the global South, and especially the countries in the region, can positively influence this process, looking for this solution. And I believe there is a solution to attain this.
The changes are happening irrespective of whether we help those changes or not. Those are objective trends of global development. You know, in my speech, and on many other occasions, including here at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum last year, I mentioned that the changes in the world are happening, and those are fundamental changes. They are due to the fact that new economic leaders emerge. Just look at what's happened over the past years. Look at how the share of the so-called G7 was shrinking in the global economy. It is shrinking every year. And look at how the share of the countries that got together in the BRICS has been growing. Again, this is an objective process. And it has nothing to do with any clashes or military conflicts. No. It's been on for decades. And when we're told, look, you in Russia, you implemented this pivot to the global south, to Asia. Oh no! Those decisions had long been taken because we considered the trends of the global development. And again, those are objective trends. Our colleague from South Africa just spoke. 2.5 billion people in Africa. And again, this is a medical fact. This is what's going to happen, and there is no stopping it. All those nations, all those continents, all those peoples would seek to improve their standards of living. And definitely they would try to enhance their economic and humanitarian capabilities. And again, those are inevitable things that are happening in our civilization. Our task is to make this process, this inevitable process, a civilized shape. And altogether, we should take efforts that not only would accelerate those processes, but make those processes balanced, so that the decisions are made on a timely basis, and the decisions are most effective and would benefit all the participants of the process, including the countries that, one way or another, are somehow losing their positions in the global economy. Look, we want to agree with them. We are ready to agree with them if they want to. However, if they want to maintain their monopoly at all costs, if they want to keep the instruments of colonial influence in the world, well, they will have to be happy with the situation they are gradually sliding to. You said about the 4 regions that we consider ours. Well, on many occasions, I did mention that Russian and Ukrainian peoples are the same people, and in this sense, the entire Ukraine is ours. But look, we look at the realities on the ground, and obviously there are people, there are many of such people in a neighboring country who seek sovereignty and independence, and I wish them all the best. I mean, we never, ever challenged their right, the right of the Ukrainian people to independence and sovereignty. Having said that, the grounds on which Ukraine became independent and sovereign were spelled out in the Declaration on Independence of 1991. And it stated very clearly that Ukraine is a non-nuclear neutral state and not party of any blocs. I think it would be good to get back to those core values based on which Ukraine obtained its sovereignty and independence. Second, from the very beginning, when the conflict became really hot, we suggested to the Ukrainian leadership to cease all the conflicts. We suggested that we withdraw our troops from the territories, and they withdraw their troops from the territories where people are not ready to embrace the new regime and they want to live independently or become part of the Russian Federation. They said no. And again, those are not political decisions. And now the logic of combat comes into play. The military look at where they can better advance, where they can channel their troops to achieve the best outcomes with the lowest possible casualties. And this is how troops advance. You know, we have an old saying, or story, or rule rather, whenever the boot of Russian soldier stands, it becomes ours.